New TV Guide, The Game. It's classic and current TV.
Ross and Rachel hang out at what cafe?
So show what you know.
Central Perk.
New TV Guide, The Game. It's what you've been watching for.
Welcome. You're watching the Thrift Store Rundown's first ever expedition to the Emmys, celebrating TV's biggest night by doing what we do best, bringing Hollywood home on a budget. For most couch potatoes across the land, TV Guide is their guide to planning the ultimate week of television. What shows would they want to mark their calendars for during the week? Look in the guide. Do they want an incidental celebrity scoop? Look in the guide. The only TV Guide review I've ever done up until this point was their 50 Years of Television book, which I reviewed many years ago. Couch Potatoes didn't need to do any TV week planning because in that book, TV Guide did all the planning for them, spanning generations of television to come up with the ultimate week in front of the tube. Those same Couch Potatoes might want to sit up a little bit upon purchasing and playing this game. They're gonna have to, because of how simple it is to learn and how undeniably addictive it's gonna be to play. This is TV Guide, The Game, from Milton Bradley, purchased for $4.99. 2,700 fun questions and answers spanning generations of television. Everything from the nifty 50s to the nutty 90s. We're talking sitcoms, game shows, sports, kids stuff, and much more. We'll classify the dog as much more. Let's take a look at the back here. Yes, that's right, friends. You'll find all your favorite shows from the present and past. But wait, there's more. Well, are you a game show host or an infomercial host? That's what infomercial hosts usually say. And whenever you hear, but wait, there's more, chances are that the more is something that you do not want more of. But in this game, you're gonna want more of it. Trust me. More good TV, more bad TV, more amazing TV, and more fun answering all these amazingly in-depth, on-point questions. 2,700 in all. But don't take my word for it. Here's what others are saying. Well, the dog doesn't really say much. But the basketball guy here definitely says for you to check this out. This amazing electronic remote actually talks to you. It tells you where to find your categories in the TV Guide book, and cheers when you're right and cheers when you're wrong. If there's one game you should bring home this year, the stereotypical sitcom housewife, definitely the inspiration for the AMC series Kevin Can F Himself, recommends this wholeheartedly. And you don't need to be a trivia expert to play. Here, have some cake. Oh yeah? Well, we plan on having this cake and eating it too. Cake for the brain. Not only does it feature the book with instructions and questions and the electronic selector remote, it also features the game board, 2 pawns, and 4 scorers for this game, which requires 2 or more players ages 12 to adult. I'll try my dead level best to give you a brief summary of gameplay here. If you want a more detailed summary, you're going to have to check the beginning of this book. This is the instruction and question booklet. Now, the remote has already been assembled for me, as I'll show you in a moment. But here is the brief summary of how to play. Divide players into 2 even teams. If there's an extra player, he or she should serve as moderator for reading the questions for both teams. Each team chooses a pawn and places it on the game board start space, and then teams take turns being the asking team and the answering team. So it goes a little something like this. You take your remote, you press the number button right here.
619.
And whatever number it says indicates the question that you gotta answer. Now, there are multiple choice questions and true or false questions. So, let's go to 619. That would be Rey Mysterio's number, WWE. And here we have 3 questions. Now, these questions, all of them, range in point value from 1 point to 3 points. 1 star, 2 stars, and 3 stars. You have the option of choosing from either one of these point values. Like if you go for the 2-star question. What future morning news anchor was catapulted to stardom as Frank Gifford's co-host of the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics? If you answered Kathy Lee Gifford, well, then you'd be 1, and then you hear this sound. Press the thumbs down button.
Oh, bummer.
2 sounds per each thumb placement.
Oh, bummer. Oops.
And bummer and oops being thumbs down. But if you answered Kathleen Sullivan, A, well, that means you're right. So you press the thumbs up button. I would not say cheers as in, well, the cheers of a studio audience for a game show, but these are the 2 sounds you can hear if you get a question right.
Nice job! Nice job!
Some of the sounds actually repeat themselves, but
Way to go! Way to go!
there you go. So each sound repeats itself twice. See the score? The score side right here. The point values on the left and right. Place your score here. It should fit snugly. Okay, so problem number 1, it doesn't fit. Problem number 2, we're missing a score. We have 3 here. 1 is unaccounted for, which is how you know that this was definitely used. So if you have an orange score here, chances are you're going to have an easier time playing this game than the other team, which doesn't have another score like this. So, that being said, you move up the scorers to the appropriate amount of notches depending on the amount of points you won for answering the question correctly. If you can fit them all into this cardboard game board here, it's a real snug fit. Good luck trying to get it to fit. As you can see, this one doesn't really want to fit at all, so I'm gonna have to manhandle this a little bit to make it fit. They should have made the game board a bit thinner. Oh well. Anyway, as I said, move up the game scorers here on how many notches that the point values of the question dictate. Please keep this on a flat surface. Do not hold it here, otherwise one of the scores could fall off. Anyway, the game shows, the sports, the sitcoms, the kid stuff, and the much more, these spaces here indicate that you gotta answer some questions. If you land on a keep going section, well, you can continue to keep going with gameplay. You've earned an extra turn in this space, which you can use at your leisure. You take another turn by landing on this space, and you take that turn immediately. Go again, answer another question. If you get to the 8-point bonus here and win the 8-point bonus, you end the game. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you win the game. You have to have the most points at the end of the game to win. There's also another variation of gameplay where you have to be the first team or first player to get to 50 points. So that's basic gameplay summary here, as basic as I tried to make it sound. A more detailed explanation can be found inside the beginning of this instruction and questions booklet, along with all 2,700 questions which go in front of the camera and behind the scenes on every show that you know of on a first name basis, and some that you haven't heard of or haven't seen in so many years that you might have forgotten about. So if you want a good amount of celebrity scoop in here, you're gonna get that in this booklet. I mean, the game itself is just worth buying for this booklet alone. But in regards to gameplay, no matter how simple it is or how undeniably addictive it's gonna be to play, and believe you me, it is addictive. One of the other components that would make this a perfect game is ease of prep. And with these scores here, we got an issue. One missing score, and the game board, as you saw, is not thin enough for the scores to fit comfortably. In fact, have a look at the thickness of the game board here. It's cardboard, and well, it's just not thin enough. So you might have to manhandle this a little bit. You see the opening here for one of the scores? Yeah, that fits comfortably. But the other score here really doesn't fit very well. You have to manhandle it a little bit. So, ease of prep, well, this game fails in that regard, and well, I can't really give it all 5 claps in good conscience because we're missing a scorer, which stinks. But the electronic remote,
574.
574,
Nice job! Oh, bummer.
and the booklet definitely make this game worth buying anyway. You're just gonna have to get 3 players to play this game. I gotta give it 3.5 out of 5 claps though.
Oops.
Yeah, oops indeed. Regardless, TV Guide the Game is a game worth keeping around. Oh, and let's just say, if you happen to press this number button right here on the remote, and it goes to question number 679, which would be right here, TV Dogs, and you choose the 3-point question. On what spunky sitcom in the 1980s would you find a golden retriever named Brandon?
I'm Punky Brewster, and this is my pal, Brandon.
Heck yes. I bring that up for good reason. Because one, Brandon Todikoff, may God rest his soul, is actually one of the answers in one of the questions to TV Guide, proving my point that this game covers everything television, everything Hollywood. And you remember that commercial at the beginning of the video? The one where the guy answers the question correctly as to the hangout of Ross and Rachel from Friends? Central Park. All that for good reason. Because Punky herself actually hung out at Central Park a couple times to see her boyfriend, Joey, and to give him a playful dose of PDA. Actually, a painful dose of PDA. All of that is covered in the 5th season of Friends, a bonus review which I will tack on this week here on TSR. Above and beyond all that, and the fact that I'm mercilessly in love with Soleil Moon Frye right now, everybody, and I do mean every TV junkie out there, no matter what generation they binge watch TV in, will surely be in tune to this game. Thanks for watching, stay golden, and of course I'll catch you on the Thrift side.